Hello, hi everyone. Hope and pray that all of us are fine because we are going through a difficult phase of our life, our existence. It's not at one place but everywhere across the globe. Things have taken a strange shape that we're coping with, struggling with really. It's like a virus, coronavirus, contagious disease, an epidemic, a pandemic, followed by quarantine, followed by lockdowns, followed by hue and cry, followed by lots of deaths around, and lots of people are suffering on this count. Today I'm going to talk about a few vocabulary things that are going around that we get to hear day in and day out, every morning, every evening, whether it is social media, whether it is electronic media, or in our day to day discourse. These words are so commonly used now that they have become a part of us. And I've chosen to talk about these terms that are so commonly used. It's not about the meaning of these words. It's just, I just want to remind you, I just want to tell you that what's this all about? Only purpose of this talk is that so that you understand it very well, because understanding it very well will help us cope up with the problem that we're going through. Yes, you're right, you have guessed it right. I'm going to talk about COVID-19, or commonly known as coronavirus. Let me start from the very first word that started this all: virus. What exactly does a virus mean? What is a virus? Is it a bacteria? Is it any living organism? What is it? First of all, let's try to understand the meaning of the word virus. The word virus has actually originated from Latin language. Virus, it has originated from the term venom, which means poison. When we say poison, it obviously means it's not a living organism. It's a substance. It's a non-living substance actually. And it's poisonous. When we say poisonous, it means it is dangerous, it is deadly, it is lethal. So virus has actually originated from the word venom, which means poison. Now, today, what we are hearing is coronavirus. Why is it called coronavirus? Again, the word comes from Latin background. Corona means crown. The shape of this particular virus that the world is struggling with right now is like that of a crown. That's why it's called as coronavirus. A virus that creates a lot of complexities, a lot of problems, a lot of disease around. As you know, the world is struggling with coronavirus, commonly known as COVID-19. Coronavirus, there are so many viruses that the world has been struggling with. But this time, this virus has really challenged the very existence of the human beings. There have been viral diseases previously as well, more deadly, like there was SARS was there, severe acute respiratory syndrome. There was MERS, Middle East respiratory syndrome. These viruses too were deadly, but they did not spread so fast and so wide as the one we are struggling with right now. This virus is contagious. This is the other term that we listen to every time. It's a contagious disease. This virus is contagious. Contagious means this is infectious. It spreads from one to many, from one to another, and it spreads very fast. It has become communicable. The disease it is caused has become so communicable that it has spread across the world. It started somewhere in China, in the province of Wuhan, and it suddenly took the shape of an epidemic. Epidemic. When I say epidemic, epidemic means a disease that affects a large number of people spread over a large geographical area. Epidemic. But then it moved out of China and it started spreading across the globe. And the World Health Organization was compelled to declare it as pandemic. Now, what's a pandemic? A pandemic is again a disease that affects a very large number of people spread over a large geographical area. And it is deadly, as it is understood. It has killed thousands of people, and there are hundreds of thousands, lakhs of people who are affected by it, who are infected by it. So it's a pandemic. So the first word we talked about was virus. Then we said coronavirus. And then we talked about its being contagious. And the next thing we talked about is contagious, infectious. And the next thing we talked about is its being epidemic in the first stage. And then it became a pandemic as it spread across the world. Now there are diseases, there are problems, and there are solutions. For diseases, there are preventions and there are cures. Does this disease have a cure at the moment? Unfortunately, not. We don't have a cure for it. But does this have a prevention? Yes, prevention is possible. And prevention is no less than cure. You might have heard it. Prevention is better than cure. It does have preventions, and we can take these preventive measures in order to minimize or end the threat caused by this virus. What are the preventive measures? You are very well aware of the preventive measures. First of all, it comes to the hygiene. Maintaining cleanliness, washing our hands every time. Second, wearing masks so that we minimize the chances of getting infected, or if someone is suffering from it, just maintaining a distance. Wearing masks, maintaining distances, washing your hands continuously. But since this disease has taken the shape of a pandemic, these individual precautions, these individual preventions do not suffice to control the spread of this disease. It demands some larger preventions, some bigger measures in order to minimize the threat posed by this virus. What are the preventions I have talked about? The first one is keeping a good health and hygiene. The second one is washing your hands, keeping your hands clean, sanitizing your hands, wearing masks when we move out, trying to minimize exposure to this virus. The next thing is that as we know that it has spread across the globe, individual prevention does not suffice to prevent it, to put an end to this menacing threat that is there to the existence of the human beings. It demands some greater measures. It demands some prevention at a greater level. That's why now the concept of social distancing has come into being. Social distancing. What does social distancing mean? Social distancing actually means minimizing our social interactions, not socializing much, or to be accurate enough in present time, not socializing at all. Just breaking the chain, this kind of chain reaction that this virus has started, and it's so unending. We need to put an end to this chain reaction. And for that reason, there is this concept, this preventive measure of social distancing. We have to minimize our social interactions. As you know, majority means almost all the colleges, the universities, the schools, the offices, the work business places, all are shut down. Why? Because we have to bring that level of social distancing wherein we put a stop to this infection. We put a stop to this contagious disease. We put a stop to it spreading so fast. Social distancing means just putting a stop to our social interactions. Just stopping socializing, interacting with the people so that we can stop the spread of this disease. So this social distancing is extremely important at this stage. As you know that almost everything has come to a halt. Nothing is working. No office, no business, no school, no college, no university. Nothing is happening at the moment. And it is needed. It is needed really, because we cannot go on with our daily chores and then expect that the spread of this disease will stop. No, we have to put, because the experts, the scientists who are working on it, they say that there is only one way that we could minimize, we could stop the spread of this disease, and that's only through social distancing. Just confining yourself to your own home, to your own room, to your own place. Only the people who work on essentialities, people who work on the existential needs of the human beings, only they, with all protective measures and all protective gear that is needed, only they are out to help us, to support our survival, and we must be so thankful to them. Social distancing is a must in order to put a stop, in order to minimize the threat posed by this disease. But since we're human beings, we are somehow at times we are weak, we feel compelled to move out, go, interact, transact with the people. And at times people are little, we are human beings and we are weak and we just want to go out, because we cannot just be, we cannot confine ourselves to our rooms and that's all. We need to go out, but we have to stop. We have to control our necessities. We have to control our temptations of going out. That's why the governments across the world feel compelled to announce lockdowns, a forceful lockdown, where people are forced to sit indoors so that the threat posed by the disease is minimized. There is one more term that is used other than social distancing and lockdown. Then there is one more that's called quarantine. People are quarantined. People who are believed to be, are suspected to be infected by this disease, they are quarantined. Quarantine actually means, previously it was used in case of ships and vessels that came from other countries, and when people thought that there could be some sort of contagious disease or some sort of life-threatening biological material on these ships were quarantined for 40 days actually. They were not allowed to enter into the harbors, into the ports. They were just separated. Quarantine means to isolate, to separate. They were isolated and kept aloof for a period of 40 days, and only then they were allowed to come into the harbor or the ports. And in this case, people are also quarantined, but they are not quarantined for 40 days, but they are quarantined for 14 days only, because it's believed, majority of the experts and scientists and the virologists, they say that this virus has an incubation period of 14 days. It shows its symptoms between 2 and 14 days. So people are quarantined. We understand that these are very tough times. It's very difficult to be quarantined, to be isolated, or to be locked down, or to just go for this social distancing where every social activity has come to a halt. But then we don't have many options at the moment. We have to abide by the instructions, the guidance of the experts, of the scientists who work so hard to make our life easier and make our sustenance easier. So we have to go through all this. And this is why I wanted to talk to you about all these terms that are there. We have to understand all these things actually in order to combat this disease, in order to combat this problem, this life-threatening problem that has killed thousands of people and has affected lakhs of them around the globe. And we have to understand, there is a simple thing that I would like to tell you. It's like I have to believe that everybody around me is infected. I have to save myself. I have to protect myself. I have to protect people around me. The best way to protect, to help people around me is to maintain a good distance. Maintain that social distancing that will break this chain of spread of this disease. The whole purpose of my talk was to make you understand these words so that we understand the seriousness of it, we understand the threat posed by it, and we understand the measures that we have to take as people, as educated and serious people, in order to help other people, the governments, the systems that are in place to combat this problem. I hope that you try to find out some meaning into what I said. Thank you very much and hope to catch you. And one more thing I would like to tell you is that uh, from tomorrow onwards, I will be coming up with small pieces of vocabulary for a minute or two, so that we keep the things going, and I'll be taking up bigger lectures as well with the passage of time. But right now, the mindset is a bit disturbed. It's a bit difficult to talk about the technicalities because your mind is so full of the things that are happening around. So stay tuned, keep watching Easy English 2020. I'm Riaz and I'll talk to you again very soon. Thank you very much. See you very soon. Bye bye.